All right. So let's look at, or just do a recap quickly. And then what we're going to do is also just look at a skill we're going to create. It's called the bootstrapping skill. And I'll explain it in this video too. And the next lesson, we're going to start building out a total new web application from scratch. So basically, if you're in Cursor and you say slash and a skill name, it will immediately tell Cursor to use a specific skill. Cursor also, by default, you can tell it in a rule to use specific skills. Also, for instance, if a bootstrapping skill, we're going to create new features for an application, we'll always use this bootstrapping skill, and you can say slash bootstrap and the skill will start up, asking you a couple of questions. The other way to get a skill to sort of automatically start is you can put it into your Cursor rules file. Simply say, you know, every time we start off with a new feature for an application, use the, or suggest to use the bootstrap skill. The other thing is that when you install a skill, Cursor will read the YAML code. We will look at that in a little bit more detail now, and sort of build up a little, let's say, list in memory, holding these skills in mind whenever you type in something in a prompt. So what we have now is rules, and rules, you know, sort of give you constraints so that basically the AI don't go wild and do all kinds of weird things you didn't ask for. And it will do that if you don't have rules. Let me tell you something about AI. AI lies. AI talk with confidence, with data that it does not even really know. It make up things and it hallucinates. All right, it is something that AI is proud to do. So when I say it lie, of course, it's not really lying. It works with the data it's got and so forth. But constraints are needed so that your AI stays in its lane. Templates, very important, because templates is like all the little blueprints for things that you want. Blueprints for PDF files like invoices, blueprints for emails, blueprints for ADR templates, and so forth. So there's many blueprints that you will find that you're going to use. You create it once, and from now on, let's say MD files will all have the same look, feel, and structure to it. And then we have skills, which are the power tools. They are active, they are on demand, they are experts in specific jobs. So you pull the trigger and you get an immediate result. For instance, you can have a skill for an API called resend. Resend is used to send emails very fast. And if you have a skill for resend, all you have to say now from now on is, and send an email to administrator informing them there's a new order. You don't have to even use the word resend because the skill exists. In Cursor, and we will look at it in a minute, simply in the prompt /, and you start typing, and you'll see actually a little drop down appears showing all the skills. You choose the right one, but also, like I said, build it in, and we're going to do that, build it into a rule, and also Cursor by default knows about every skill and will by itself automatically employ skills as you carry along. So that sort of, or not sort of, it is the three pillars of AI assisted development. You have your safety, which is the rules, you have structure, that is templates, and you have a lot of different skills that can be executed on the fly. So let's just look at the Bootstrap skill we're going to install. It's a very simple skill. It's a very easy skill. And just the word Bootstrap, if you start up a computer, you normally say you're booting up the computer. And all that simply means is when your computer starts up, it knows nothing. It don't know if you've got Windows. It don't know if you have hard drives. It knows nothing. So a basic system is started up that then go and discover and figure all these things out, and eventually your Windows or Linux or whatever system you use will be running. So Bootstrap is basically giving the foundation that everything will be built upon when it comes to coding. So what this specific Bootstrap will do is, first off, you'll just in a prompt say /bootstrap, and step 2 will, and basically questions will be asked, what is this feature you want, and it will create the ADR for it. It will create the directory structure for it under features, and do all things like that for you. Now, what makes that super cool is that every time you start a new feature, that feature will have its own directory with everything needed for the feature in there. It will have subdirectories. For instance, if you say there will be database access, there'll be a database subdirectory with SQL files and all kinds of things in it. And basically your foundation is laid out for you, especially including the ADR. It's just a way of, well, how someone not knowing this stuff will normally operate. You can see this is the important one. Here's your hopes and dreams lying all over the place. There's code, there's blank pages, yes, retrofit structures for later, all kinds of things all messed up together. And that workflow to build that up was normally like 30 minutes to get it built up properly. So it's looking something like what we're going to do. So we're going to say /bootstrap. It will create the ADR that gives all the specifications and all the guardrails and everything that we need to work within. It keeps a history of everything that changes, why it changes, why it was removed, why it was added, all kinds of things. And you have your whole structure nicely set up in 30 seconds. All right, so if you look at skills, that first top part of a skill we call YAML code. And basically it starts off with 3 dashes and it ends with 3 dashes. And in between you'll give, it's really a key value pair. It's something you'll work with often. The key will be the name, the value will be Bootstrap. The key will be description, the value will be the description of what you're going to do. In YAML, you can also use a tags colon and give some tags that makes it easier for cursor to know when to execute this. So there's a lot around YAML, but this is the three basic things. What you must have is a name and description, and then you start with your markdown language below it for the skill. Again, we're not setting up skills manually by ourselves. We use cursor to build them for us. So how a skill file looks like, it will be YAML, the front matter, that stuff that cursor is going to keep in memory, the name of the skill and the description of the skill, and then follows the instructions and very often constraints at the bottom. You know, for instance, if you have a skill for databases, at the bottom it will say always make sure that row level security is done for these tables you create. So the bootstrap command we're going to do is simple. You type bootstrap, it asks you what's the future name, what is going to happen, a short description of it. It goes and scans through your ADR documentation, finds the last one, create a new one with a new number. So if you end it on 005, it will start a new one called 006 with the future name. Then it will go into your file structure and it will create a name for the future feature and subdirectories if required. If it's not database related, there won't be a database subdirectory. If there's no APIs, there won't be API subdirectories. And there's your scaffolding complete. Scaffolding, think of it as, you know, though, if you think of how it works when you build a house, all the scaffolding that's built around the house first before they start building, that's your scaffolding. And that, in the end of the day, is what we have then just done in 30 seconds. So a rule gets detected, a skill gets suggested, a skill gets executed, and the rule clears to say, all right, it's been done, but always first it will look for an ADR. That for us is always very important. So remember, we the architects, we are not the laborers. This is important stuff for you, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.